What's up, Knicks Nation? Another action-packed show. So today's flagship topic is going to be whether or not the Knicks should embrace more of a finesse style versus their traditional lore of being a physical team that capitalizes off of brute force. We're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about media day, some of the highlights. I know that was last week, but there's some things that I noticed that I feel like we should talk about. Of course, training camp, the first 3 days of training camp, Mike Brown spoke every day. What are the undertones? What are some things we noticed? What are some things to look out for? We know the Knicks, had those training camp days right before they flew out to Abu Dhabi. We'll talk a little bit about that. Mitchell Robinson, from farming to an uncertain future. We'll talk about him and his new conquest to help him prepare for a healthier career. This week, we got comment of the week, word on the street, and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Salute Knicks Nation. Welcome to This Week Inside the Knicks. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective Fan, and I'm straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, man. Man, welcome to another podcast. This is episode 16, the final episode of the off-season edition of This Week Inside the Knicks. We'll be talking about all the hot topics between September the 22nd to the 29th, right? A lot of things going on, but salute to the chat as usual. Let me get my chat on my next window so I can see what's going on and say what's up to my people. This is not the normal time for this show. This show usually takes place on on Mondays at around noontime. But, this week I had a lot of things going on. So I had to move the podcast to Tuesday instead of just canceling it, especially because this is the last episode, right? So big time salute to everybody in the building early. Mellow Mike, I see you in the building. HIM, I see you. Knicks will be champs. Oh my God, Knicks will be champs is at it again. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member mod. He's talking about Star Mitch. Oh my God. Could I introduce the topic? Salute to Stevie Nicks. I see you in the building. Salute to Yuri. I see you, channel member, moderator. I see you, man. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Let's see. Mellow Mike saying, oh, okay. Thank you for the salute to the hat, by the way. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I try to, take pride in my hat collection. Just Knicks, I see you in the building. So, yeah, we got an action-packed show. Some announcements before we get this thing kicked off. I didn't get a chance to go to Brooklyn on Sunday for the Objective Fan Hoop Series. I want to try to get one in the middle of the week somehow. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm not sure when I'm gonna hoop again. A lot of things going on, but I'm gonna make it happen. I got to do a makeup day. What else I want to say? Oh, salute to all the channel members. We got the Knicks Tape Madness Fantasy League popping off. No more spots. So we're looking to do the draft. I'm gonna do it live. I'm looking at probably not this Saturday coming up, but the following Saturday. I wonder what date that is. I think that's the calendar. I think that's the 11th. So I'm looking to get the podcast in on the 11th or the 12th. So I'll let you guys know when we have the official date. But I'm excited for the fantasy stuff. I never did it before. And, salute to everybody who signed up. Also, October 9th. Put this in your calendar. I know we got the Abu Dhabi games. The games are too early, so I won't be able to do a live play-by-play, or not a live play-by-play, but the post-game call-up show like we do after the games. But the first post-game call-up show will be on October 9th. I think that's against the Wolves, right? So that'll be the first call-up show. So we're going to be bringing it back to post-game call-ups. I look forward to that, all right? And once again, this is the last episode of this off-season edition as we get ready to go into preseason mode. Right? So preseason mode is exciting because usually we get a chance to get a glimpse of, what's to come when the season starts. So I'm excited for it, man. New York City, salute to the Knicks. And we're going to jump into it, man. So I'm going to start this off by jumping into some special highlights, as I always do. So in order to do that, I'm going to go into research mode. So research mode is basically a mode where we get to actually, research things and look up things. And where we're going to go is This Week Inside the Knicks, which is the official blog for this podcast, right? So this blog operates like a weekly digest, all the news for the week, okay? Usually on Mondays. This week we did it Tuesday, but on Monday morning, you'll get all the news from the previous week. So we're going to be talking about, this is episode 16, and we're talking about the time period September 22nd to the 29th. So how you would get there, usually when you go to thisweekinsidethenix.com, bam, you'll be on the home screen. All you got to do is click on the 2025 off season. Next week, it will be the 2025 preseason, and you will see the episode. And, whatever news articles we don't get a chance to talk about, things that may catch your eye, all you got to do is go here. Everything is there. Like I said, usually this updates Monday morning, right before we do the podcast live, okay? And also, my last thing too, like I'm still not sure whether or not the pod will stay pre-record, go pre-recorded, or will we do it live? I'm still weighing out the options with that. But so let's get it going. So I want to talk about this, right? First of all, I got to give a big time salute to JB, captain, for doing his thing. He definitely has become a superstar. So let me see if I can put this on the screen. I don't got the audio, but this is a new commercial that Jalen Brunson, he pretty much is like, one of they call him Captain Clutch or Captain or something like that. And this is a new commercial, right? And he's pretty much featured in it. And I'm going to say this, man. First off, salute to Cap. I think Cap is official. This man is a bona fide superstar, right? Definitely, if you want to check it out with the sound, the link to this, it's on Twitter, but if you want to find it, all you got to do is go to This Week Inside the Knicks. You'll be able to find it from there. But yeah, Captain is doing his thing, man. He's living in the limelight, right? He's a star, right? People, they got on him. They said he was too small, but it still is not stopping the acknowledgments. Make sure my soundboard's working. But yeah, so salute to Cap for that. I'm happy to see him get that spot. Let's see. I'm going to go here's Abu Dhabi trip. So the Knicks officially, they landed in Abu Dhabi. I had a video I was going to play of them. They were giving handshakes and things of that nature. So they, they landed there, safely, successfully. Salute to the New York Knicks, right? Spearheading this international movement this year. I'm so happy to see, us get the limelight. The time is now, right? They got us on front center for the world to see. And it's a place that we belong, man. I'm just so happy for these guys. They were all smiling, shaking hands with the people as they greeted them. And I'm looking forward to this, preseason game just to get a look at what, how things would be. Of course, it's not going to be the official thing until the season starts, but it's still good to get, an eye for what's going on. All right. Move forward. I'm going to move a little faster today because there's a lot to talk about and I don't want to make this show too long. So I'm a breeze through the birthdays, man, as we do. First off, big time salutes to all the former Knicks, man. Once a Knick, always a Knick. So we always salute everybody who played with the team. So the birthdays we're going to acknowledge between September 22nd to the 29th. We got Dick McGuire, who played back in the 40s and 50s. Wow. Okay. Point guard, 7 times All-Star. Then we got on September 24th, Mike Woodson. Salute to Mike Woodson, who actually coached the Knicks. Right, he was there when we had our little playoff run when we went to the second round. Salute to Mike Woodson, but he also played back in 1981 to 1983. September 25th, big time salute to Tony Campbell. Right, Tony Campbell. He played between 1984 and 1987. Versatile swingman. September 26th, you got Trevor Ariza and Dean Meminger. Hopefully, I said the Meminger right. Of course, Meminger, he goes back to the 70s, way before my time. But he played on at least one of those championship teams. And of course, Trevor Ariza, we know Trevor Ariza, he was somebody who had a lot of promise in the Knicks uniform. But of course, as the Knicks normally do, we let all our young talent go. Okay, especially in that era in time. Then you got Frank McGuire. He played with 2 seasons in the Knicks, right? Back in the days, his Knicks tenure was in the 40s, way before anybody's time. And September 29th, Harry Gallatin, he played with the Knicks between 48 and 1957. Okay, so that's salute to all the former Knicks, right? And their birthdays, as we show love to everyone. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Former Knicks and current Knicks. I'm gonna move on to the rumor report. I'm sorry, the New York report, not the rumor report. I don't do too many rumors. I don't have a rumor report section, but I do got a New York report section, right? So basically, I'm gonna give a little snapshot of all the other teams in the city. If you want to read all of this, you can. Like I said, you go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. It's all there. Okay. Now, the New York Liberty, after they got ousted in a 3-game series against the Phoenix Mercury, they fired their coach, Sandy Bordello. It's like in this league, coaching is a tough job. And I felt like that was a little premature. She won the championship last season. Of course, they got bumped in the first round. So, hey, New York is in New York City, man. We got a new standard, man. High standards. I get the move. They said they want to move in a different direction, and that's what it is. New York Yankees, they made the playoffs. They won their last game on a 3-2 walk-off win against the White Sox. They clinched their 60th postseason appearance. First off, that's legendary. I got to give a salute for that. Salute to the New York Yankees for their 60th postseason appearance. And they will enter as a wild card team, and they're going to play a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Now, this could be nightmare because the Red Sox has had our number all year, but we see how it goes. Of course, the New York Mets, man, they didn't make it to the postseason. Listen, y'all, I'm growing as a fan. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm trying to be, the objective fan for New York. But 10 years ago, I would have been roasting the Mets right now. I'm not going to do that. Salute to all the Mets people in the building. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you guys a salute. It's unfortunate you guys don't make the postseason. But I do know that if the shoe was on reverse, y'all would be roasting the Yankees. But I'm letting y'all live because I know we allies in this Knick world too. There's a lot of Met fans that are Knick fans. And right now, we got the Knicks coming up. So that's where the focus is. As far as the New York football, Jets is trash. That's my team, but they're trash. I'm not watching the Jets again until they get a win, right? They have these close games, but they're losing. I don't give a damn about a close effort if you lose. New York Giants, though, they got the win. Salute to Jackson Dart or Jason Dart. Is it Jason or Jackson? Anyway, Jason Dart, he got his first win starting. I thought that was a great move by the Giants. Salute to the Giants for that because, I feel like there's no pressure now. When you go 0-3, now it's like the season's pretty much over anyway. But, let's just roll the dice and see what the rookie can do. There's no pressure on him. I felt like it was a great situation. They beat an undefeated Chargers team. I actually watched that game. Pretty good game, pretty good stuff. Even though he wasn't as impressive in terms of yards and things of that nature, I thought it still was a solid start. And the Giants defense is brutal, boy. They picked the Chargers quarterback twice, and they said that he didn't even throw an interception all year. As far as the Rangers, they got some things going. They fired their coach, Peter. I'm just gonna say Peter. Don't give me pronouncing last names. And Phil Housley, they were fired, so now they're going in a different direction. Don't really know much about the Rangers, but I'm still going to give them a big time salute. Hopefully, they could turn their situation around too. So that's the New York report, y'all. Hopefully, your teams, do better. Whether it's next season or the next game. Let's see what happens. All right. Now I'm gonna jump into some of these stories of the week, but before I do, I'm gonna take a brief look in the chat, see if there's anybody else in the building. Okay. Oh, Jackson. Okay. I see you, Stevie Nicks. Okay. I got you. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Are you taking the preseason a little bit more seriously? Yuri says, when you say a bit more serious, it depends on the context of what you mean. To me, the preseason is it doesn't count. So it's not like if you drop 20 in the preseason, I'm not going to be like, yo, he dropped 20. So look, when I watch preseason basketball, I'm looking at the way the game is played, right? That's all I'm looking at. I don't care about the results. I don't care about who starts. None of that matters. It's about the way the game is played. Are you hustling for rebounds? How are you defending, right? All those things you take into, consideration, especially for the guys that are on the bubble, right? From the Matt Ryans of the world, right? The Garrison Matthews of the world. Those guys are on the bubble, so we got to see if they even get time. Who knows how Mike Brown might do it because it's technically a new team, when you got a new coach, it's like a new team. He's running a new system. So maybe he doesn't play a lot of those guys. Maybe he goes with his regular rotation guys so he can see how they feel. You know, that's what Tibbs did his first time here. So we don't even know how it's going to work. So when you say taking it seriously, I mean, if you want to assess the way the game is played, and if you consider that seriously, then okay. But if you're talking about the results, no, I don't really care. They could lose every game and get blown out by 30. Doesn't tell me nothing. It's not real. Stevie Nicks said Yankees are automatic playoff appearance. That's facts. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we'll be watching the preseason with a microscope of Stevie Nicks. We'll definitely be watching with a microscope, but don't make it like it's like the end all be all, because it's not. It's just something that we can assess, and then coaches use it usually to see who's doing what, right? How they want to run certain lineups of rotation. It's a test. It's a big test. All right, let me see who else is in the building. Salute to my man Randle in the building, channel member. I see you, Randle. Welcome. All right. Oh, and by the way, Stevie Nicks, thanks again for the salute to the hat collection. All right, I'm gonna go back into the show program here. Let me close this window out. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into some of the stories of the week, or should I do the rundown first? I'll do the rundown after. Okay. So some of the stories I want to get into, like I said, there's a lot here. I'm not reading everything. We wouldn't have enough time to go through all this stuff. But literally, I take the time to document everything that happens. So if you're curious to see some things you may have missed, some things you may have not known, all you got to do is go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. Everything is there. And you click on the episode that we're on. Right now, we're on episode 16. So this list right here was the ESPN 2025 top players rankings, right? The top 100. Of course, Jalen Brunson landed at the number 10 spot. Now, honestly, I feel like his rank should be higher, right? I mean, KD, legend, Hall of Famer, right? LeBron, legend, Hall of Famer. Steph Curry's the same thing. But right now, those guys are not in the prime of their career. If I'm taking like right now, not career numbers, of course, but right now, to me, Brunson is ahead of Steph Curry. I would put Brunson ahead of Steph Curry. I get it, legendary. A lot of you guys disagree with me. I consider Steph Curry to be the best point guard in NBA history. But right now, he's not that dude. He's not. Ant-Man number 6, I don't have a problem with. Honestly, the top 6, I don't got a problem with. I think the top 6 is fine. Brunson anywhere outside of the top 6, I'm cool with. What do you guys think about that? Now, Towns is not on the list. How do you feel about that? Should Towns be in the top 10? I don't know. I think Towns is the second best center in the league. So shouldn't that warrant an automatic, number top 10 spot? I guess it depends on how you have it. But I think that Towns is still iffy because this is a guards league, right? When you look at the top of the list, it's mostly guards. Look, Ant-Man a guard, right? Giannis big man, Luka guard, Shea guard, Jokic big man. So, and then 2 of these guys are point guards, right? So it's going to be hard to crack the top when you got like 4 point guards in the top 10, 4 or 5 guards in the top 10. So it's going to be hard for a big man to crack it. And then if it's not a big man, it's a wing. So just my take on that. I'm going to move. Let me move a little faster through these things. I'll look in the chat in a second to see what you guys' response is. Okay. The Malcolm Brogdon stance, Brogdon, his status with the team. This is one of the highlighted topics I want to touch on. So this is actually, I think I quoted this on the call-up show that we did on Friday, right? So on Friday, we talked about, I told you guys that somebody reported, and it was James L. of The Athletic. He said that Pacome Dadier more than likely be in trade rumors. But as far as Brogdon is concerned, it's rumored that Brogdon will not only make the team, but he would have a key role in the roster. And as Sham says, Malcolm Brogdon is expected to play a key bench role in the Knicks rotation. So, where does that leave Deuce? Where does that leave Tyler Kolek? Right? Where does that leave some of these other guys that's on the team? That remains to be seen. I'm gonna move on to the next one. These are, like I said, I'm just going through some of the news stories. I'm not going through all of them. Julius Randle. I do want to spend some time on Randle. Now, this article is mostly about the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just going to talk about his Knicks time because I feel like it's definitely something that is pretty interesting, right? Now let me just get these quotes that I want to focus on. In the meantime, continue to smash that like button, right? Subscribe if you're not subscribed, right? And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Let me damn, I had the quotes. Where did I put the quotes? I got too many notes, man. Too many notes all over the place. Let's see. Brunson. All right. I don't know where I put it. All right, let's just look at this article now. So the final stretch of Julius Randle's Knicks tenure, right, ended on October 2nd with a stunning blockbuster trade to the Timberwolves, which came out of nowhere, right? Though, salute to my man Joel King, right? And this is another reason why you guys need to subscribe, because sometimes we get some people that know some people and break news. Salute to Joel King. He's related to Brunson somehow, and he called up and said, "Yo, Brunson, he's going to sign the extension that he wound up signing." And then he also said that Randle is out of here. And he said this like right around when Brunson signed the extension, which was back in what, like late June, early July. Randle wasn't traded till right before, training camp, late September, right? So we had that intel on this channel that something was up with Randle. Now, I didn't believe it until the trade happened. And boom, it was like a home run, right? But he was in his darkest moments when he was with the Knicks, right? He felt isolated, right, as he watched the team enter the Eastern Conference final picture without him. And he even turned to marijuana to ease the stress, to ease the pain, right? And he also withdrew to those closest with him while depression and anger and anxiety started to suffocate him. Now, to be fair to Randle, I honestly don't look at this as to say that he's not built for New York, right? I don't feel that way. It's not like he left us at the altar the way some of these other guys did in the past, asking for trades and things of the nature, right? He was willing to come back. They never offered Randle an extension. Forget the disagreement on the money. And I believe he talked about it in this interview. He did too. But forget that. They never even offered him the deal, right? Because when he signed the $30 million, the 3-year, $33+ million deal with Minnesota, I'm like, that's all it took? Mikal Bridges, who's the 4th highest paid player on the team, makes more than Julius Randle right now. He never made an all-star team. So clearly the Knicks had it in their minds they were going to go get that star caliber player in Towns that they feel is better, right? And I'm not going to lie, to me, Towns' season last year is probably better. I think it would be better than any Melo year, especially, he better playoff success than Melo had in the Knicks jersey. And he went to the Eastern Conference final in the Knicks jersey in his first year, something that Melo never did. So the trade looks like it's a win, but, I'm glad Randle, and it gets better. Like, he's just talking about his Knicks days, but, he's happy now in Minnesota. He was concerned a little bit about not getting a deal initially with Minnesota, but once they worked out the deal, he's fine. He's in a better place. So no worries about Randle. And I'm going to give Randle a salute, because he sacrificed money to be here. And he definitely was one of the first all-star caliber players to come here. And he also paved the way for Brunson to get here. So I'm happy that, his darkest moments are over. And I wish nothing but the best for Julius Randle going forward in his career. Now, I'm going to do the rundown before I go back into the chat. Now, the rundown is a new thing that I added to the show, a new element to the show. So basically, because there's so much news, I'm just going to read off some things that we won't talk about, but some things you may want to check out. And it's also in the blog, okay? So the first thing I'm going to talk about, Frank Ntilikina, he's close to signing a deal with a European team. So Frank Ntilikina will no longer be in the NBA, right? That's also in the stories of the week section of the blog. Now, if you go to the smoking hot topic section of the blog, you notice some of these. We have an article here how the Knicks are set up to reach the finals for the first time in 30 years. If you want to check that article out, that's a great read. There's another article that I was going to get into that's really interesting. Is Luka to the Knicks a great possibility? That's also in the Smoking Hot's Knicks topic section. Also, there is Brunson, his weight loss. I'm not going to talk about that, but I think that that's pretty interesting. And of course, on Friday, the call-up show, we talked about Precious Achiuwa and Delonte. I keep calling him Delonte. DeLon Wright going to the Pacers in the Heat, right? So we talked about that on the call-up show, and with the possible ramifications. Could that come back to bite us, like in a playoff series? Could DeLon come back? But those are some of the other topics on the Knicks rundown that we're not going to get into. But if you're curious about that, you could go read those articles right there. You could get access to those articles on thisweekinsidethenix.com. All right. Now, I'm going to jump back into the chat. But before I jump back into the chat, continue to smash that like button. Okay. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. All right. So let me see what you guys talking about in the chat. I know the chat is lit. And once again, this podcast is not normally on Tuesdays. I normally do it on Monday. But because I had something to do on Monday, I didn't want to, cancel the show completely. Let me see what the chat is talking about. Let's see, size 9 in the building. Why couldn't Randle just say I'd rather not comment, or that was the best years of my career? I'm grateful, because he wasn't. And he has no obligations to the Knicks. And he clearly valued the platform to share that. So yeah, he has the right to share that. And I don't take it as a negative. I just take it as he was caught in a really compromised, or he was in a very vulnerable place. He's hurt. There's a potential deal on the table, right? The team is thriving without him, and all those things matter. Let's see what else you guys talking about. TV Knicks say Brunson's better than Curry. Facts. I agree with that. That's definitely my take. 100,000%. Wait, hold on. Size 9, he says he's a journeyman. Stop. Randle is not a journeyman. I think Randle might have another all-star appearance in him on the low. It's going to be hard on the West, but, injuries happen. It could be a right storm, a perfect storm for Randle to be an all-star again. I wouldn't be surprised. Just Knicks said Bills Mafia. Just Knicks. Don't shoot me. To all my Bills fans, listen. I'm trying to create a New York truce. Right? Yankees, Mets, right? Those are really the only teams that got beef like that. I am a Jets fan. My arch rival is the Bills. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Please don't shoot me. I'm sorry, I can't include the Bills. Listen, if enough of you guys are Bill fans and you write me to add them to the New York report, I will. But I don't like the Bills. I'm sorry. I'm biased to the Bills. And I try to keep it as a New York City thing, right? Because we consider the Jets, Giants, New York City, Knicks, all those teams we consider to be New York City, right? So I'm sorry if I didn't include the Bills, okay? Let me see one more chat before I continue moving, man. Yuri says Brunson is a Knick for life. I don't know about that. We'll see. Stranger things have happened, okay? Oh, my bad. Window disappeared on me. Let me get the window back. All right, so now I'm going to touch on a little bit and by the way, if you just joined the pod, right? So on this pod, we don't just discuss one topic. These are the topics we're going over. If you're here for the finesse versus the brute force, we're going to get into that. I'm about to highlight Media Day right now. Just highlights. I'm not going to go over too much. Training camp, information a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time. Just a couple of things I noticed, and I'm going to move on. Then we'll talk about Mitchell Robinson. Right, then we'll get to flagship, then we'll get to comment of the week and all of that. All right, so we're moving at a good time. So Knicks Media Day, all I'm gonna do here, right? And by the way, if you have access to the Athletic, I'm not logged in. That blows. I don't know why I'm not logged in. It is what it is. I can't do the password now, but it's good that to get an Athletic subscription because they do a great job breaking stuff down. Any topic that comes up, you get you an Athletic subscription, they're going to do a great job breaking it down. But that's a good article there. That's also in the Knicks Media Day section of the blog. But I'm just gonna go over some of my notes. I'm not gonna spend too much time here that I noticed for Media Day. It was good conversation. I mean, a lot of it is just, I mean, it's you're not gonna get the real deal. You know, these guys gonna keep it funky. By the way, Yuri, I forgot to do that unfiltered thought on Mikal Bridges. I'm gonna try to get that done soon. I won't have time to do it today, but I'm gonna do the Mikal Bridges joint. That's coming. I did notice something with his press conference that no one is talking about. As far as Mike Brown, I mean, Mike Brown pretty much is saying this team is gonna play fast, which will tie into what the flagship topic is about. You know, he wants to play fast, and not only in the full court, Knicks will be champs. Who's a Mitchell Robinson guy? You know, salute to Mitchell Robinson. I wish him all the best. I root for Mitchell Robinson. I don't have no, and I'm gonna give him a New York City salute. I don't have no vendetta against Mitchell Robinson. I just don't think he's the guy to start on this team. Not for what we're trying to do, especially on the offensive end. He wants to play fast in the full court, fast in the half court. And one of the key ways he kept emphasizing is getting shooters into the corners early, fast, quick, pace, move, ball movement. All those things is essential. So on day one, he really spent a lot of time on that. Then he talked about his expectations. I also thought that to all my use the bench people, Tibbs needs to use the bench. He said it in his press conference. He plays anywhere between 9.5 guys to 10 guys, right? So, you know, he's not somebody that's going to play 11, 12 guys like Steve Kerr. So he's going to have his guys that he runs with, and that's what the rotation will be. Now, from the little that I've seen with him in Sacramento, he does like play other guys. So let's say somebody gets hurt, he'll insert somebody into that spot. Now, Tibbs wasn't doing that. Somebody went down, Tibbs only playing 8 guys. That's wild. So that's a change that he's going to make. But I don't think a lot of your favorite young Knicks or, you know, bench Knicks, I don't see a lot of those guys getting time. That's why it's like, what's going on with Deuce? You got, you start Mitchell Robinson. Now you got Deuce, you got Clarkson, and Brogdon off the bench. I already showed you the source that Brogdon, they're anticipating him having, Sham said, Brogdon will have a big role in the rotation. So how are you going to play those 3 guards off the bench? They all 6, well, Brogdon's what, 6'5", but Deuce and Clarkson 6'2", 6'3". You're going to play that together, you're going to be very small. So no matter how you cut it, you start Mitch, okay, you big to start, but then you're off the bench, you're small. Right? So no matter how you cut it, if you think Mitch is going to help with that, you're still a small team unless they're making a trade. You know, a lot of speculations with that. We don't know what it's going to be, but it is what it is. And then he keeps talking about his expectations are higher. Nobody has higher expectations than him, which is good. I think he convinced Leon Rose and the boys to hire him because they know that their standards is high, right? As far as Brunson, I mean, Brunson ain't really say nothing. To be honest, I'm going to keep it real. He's just usual captain stuff. Of course, the weight loss, big thing. Towns, his moment was when he said that I never had surgery. So sometimes, you know, reporters, when they don't put the sources at, you know, when they don't have direct sources, maybe the information is wrong, but Towns denied getting any surgery. Let's see. Different looks, you know, for Towns. Towns operating in the box area. You know, and then also like Mike Brown didn't say what the start lineup would be. So a lot of you guys, Knicks will be champs. I'm putting you on the spot. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. This dude, he's putting up in there a video with Mike Brown talking about Mitch and saying, well, you see, Mitchell Robinson's going to start. One segment of the day 3 of media day, he's talking about defense. And now, oh yeah, we see that, but you ignore all the other stuff that Mike Brown said. All of the playing fast in the half court, full court. Nobody talking about that. Shooters in the corner. No one's talking about that. But you get the one quote about Mitch. Oh yeah, he's going to start. There is no starting lineup right now. Right? At least like if there is a starting lineup, we don't know about it. I'm going to get to Bridges. As far as training camp, I mean, more fluff. I mean, Mike Brown just kept talking about offense. He just kept talking about offense all day. He said that they want to play conceptually with no play calls based off movements, pace, space, paint touches, paint and spray threes, quick decisions, ball reversals, automatic early offense, reacting to each other's movements. How does Mitch help that? How does Mitch help? When Mitch gets the ball, he's looking to pass. He's not thinking to make a decision to do anything, concrete with the basketball except dunk if he has an open lane. So from an offensive standpoint, I don't see how Mitch starting fits into that. And then when you guys made a big deal on day one at training camp when Mitch had the white shirt on, he said, don't worry. I mean, when Mitch had, the white shirt, no worries. He's going to have a blue shirt. Oh, no, he had the blue shirt on. And then the next day he had the white shirt. He said, no worries. That's going to change tomorrow. Doesn't mean anything. So nothing that's going on right now means anything. You guys are reading in the stuff and they're telling you that none of these things matter on that level. Let's see. Hold on. Am I moving too fast? 2 seconds. I think I'm moving too fast. Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele spoke. I lost my notes for this. I don't know where it's at, but they didn't really say that much. I mean, Clarkson, he did say, I think that was during media day, he said Clarkson averaged 2 assists, and he sees that a world where Clarkson can be a facilitator. And so I think that's telling me, okay, he's going to put him in the Malik Monk roles. And I'm sorry, the Malik Monk role. That's what that's telling me. So he's going to be handling the ball and making plays. Now, I think Brogdon off the bench helps that because Brogdon, he's definitely a point guard as well, but he has the size of a 2 guard. So I think that Brogdon and putting Brogdon and Clarkson together, man, that's a power move because both those guys were 6 men of the year. They both can score. They can make plays for others, put them in position, right? As far as Yabusele, I mean, Mike Brown made it clear that Yabu, he's going to bounce anywhere between 4 or 5. And who's to say that Yabu can't start? I did a 33-minute breakdown or 30-something minute breakdown. I made it for channel members where I've talked about Yabu's Eurobasket. I watched every Eurobasket game from Yabusele. I paid $20 just to watch that. That's all I did. I didn't watch nothing else. I didn't watch Greece, Luka. I didn't care. I just watched Yabu. And he does a lot of good things that I feel can help this team. And I think that he's a live dog to start. And nobody's really talking about him, right? We just harped on Josh Hart, Mitch. But, hey, maybe Yabu gets the shot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I noticed from training camp that caught my eye. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but some interesting stuff. I mean, Deuce, he reiterated what he expects to get under Mike Brown, ball movement, not a lot of isolation, things of that nature. Now, Mitchell Robinson on day 2, he had some interesting things to say. He kind of ducked the question about back-to-backs, which is another thing to all my Mitchell Robinson start people. I mean, if he can't play back-to-back, were you going to have an alternative lineup for him? He's not Joel Embiid. I'd rather start a guy that's going to start every night. Why would I start a guy who can't play back-to-back knowing that we're going to have back-to-backs? I think Mitchell Robinson shouldn't play more than 20 minutes. Keep him at 20 minutes and allow his body to be, preserved for the season. I don't think you should put that much wear and tear on him. That's just me. Right? And then also the contract, he ducked the contract question. My agent will handle that. Of course, you knew you wasn't going to get nothing out of it. You wasn't going to get nothing out of that. Now, OG Anunoby press conference, nothing really. Only thing good we learned was that, he has ties to Mike Brown. They for the Nigeria team, he was trying to recruit OG to be on that team because Mike Brown was the coach of the Nigeria team. I think that was in 2021 or 2020. I can't remember the exact date, but nonetheless, Mike Brown was trying to get OG to play, so they had a connection from there. And, that's what we learned. They also, the expectation of OG to be defensive, all NBA defensive team, not just team, first team. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's it for training day, media day. I mean, there's a little bit more, but if you want, you can check out all the articles from each day. I put them there. The ones from day 2, day 3. If you want to check it out in detail, all the quotes, or most of the quotes, probably not all the quotes, but you can go there and check that out. See what you guys are talking about in the chat briefly. Salute to the chat, by the way. Continue to smash the like button. We on the like button mission. And also, we on the road to 5,000 subs, man. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, man. The next milestone is 2,000. So all we got, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Trust me, we got a great season. I am looking forward to this season. I think this is probably going to be the best Knicks team we've seen in a long time. And I mean a long time. I'm willing to go past the 90s. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this Knicks team is going to bring to the table. Let me go back into the chat really quickly. Okay. So we're tapping into our offensive identity. I don't see a problem with that. Yuri says, yes, I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to definitely talk a little bit more about that. And I'll probably jump into flagship next. I'm looking on time. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Size 9 says, still means we have to be up big in games to win. No, I don't know what you're talking about, Size 9. Mellow Mike says, change it up as the season goes on. At the end of the day, there's a certain style that Coach Brown is looking for when he finds it. Then I believe that's who we'll be rolling with. Facts. I think that. I think that is fluid and it can change. I agree with you, Mellow Mike. Yuri says, I remember pre-injury Mitch, coach, we kept him preserved for the playoffs. I think that's what you got to do. Y'all must not remember the pre-injury Mitch. I mean, yes, but pre-injury Mitch we can't talk about pre-injury. We're dealing with post-injury Mitch. Simmons says, is there an issue with Josh Hart? Everyone wants Mitch to start. Simon, I'm with you. I'm cool with running it back with the same lineup. I think the same lineup will look good in Mike Brown's system. Now, a lot of you guys are concerned about his finger, which I'm going to talk. You know what? I should jump into the finger now since I'm talking about the finger. That's another thing we learned during media day. I didn't highlight it because I knew I was going to get to it here. But, Daily Nick says we may have a major problem on our hands with Josh Hart. So Josh Hart, he re-injured the finger that he had a procedure on earlier in the summer, right? And they learned that the finger's worse than they thought. So I would put the picture up, but I'm not. But if you want to see the picture, all you got to do is go there. If you didn't see the picture already, you guys probably did see the picture. I'm not going to pull it up. Bottom line is a lot of people are concerned because his finger injury caused him to not shoot well in the Pacers series. However, he shot well in the playoffs. He shot 37% from 3 in the playoffs. So he plans on playing with the finger. And if this should calm your Josh Hart hearts, okay, I think Josh Hart, if he needs to get something done, he said he was willing to get it done. So a lot of people are worried about his shooting based on that. But if his shooting falters, you could take him out the list. I mean, you can make the adjustment, but I think that he deserves a start. I'm riding with you. Right? And like, once again, if Mitch is starting, for all my Mitchell Robinson guys, I think I'm going to call you the Mitch Ets. Don't take offense to it, but the Mitch Ets. Do not be concerned, because if he starts, I'm going to cheer for him. I'm not the type of guy that's going to tear him down. Now, if he starts and we're not looking right, I will call it out. I am the objective fan. But if he starts, he comes off the bench, I personally don't care as long as it helps us win. If it doesn't help us win, I'm going to tear it down. Let's see. I was thinking about making this a bigger deal than what it is. Hopefully it loads up. But NBA Insider kind of was down on the Knicks. What's going on with my internet? Still live? Yeah, we still live. Try it again. First you don't succeed. Okay, boom. Because I'm using the ad blocker and image blocker and all types of blocker, cookie blocker. Sometimes the pages don't load right. But anyway, so NBA Insider predicts the Knicks will struggle to exceed win predictions. I think the win total they're talking about is the 53.5. And this is John Hollinger of The Athletic. He doubts the Knicks can get to the 53.5 win issues. Win total. The Knicks won 51 games last season with Coach Thibodeau, who's renowned for his willingness to totally disregard any bigger picture ramification in pursuit of wins in the here and now. And we're saying after replacing him that they'll win more regular season games this season. The logic doesn't compute. Now, at first I had an issue with that statement, but I kind of get where he's coming from. Maybe our regular season standards are a bit high because the team is a new team. Maybe it takes time to adjust. We struggled last year with Coach Tibbs because, say what you want about Coach Tibbs, it was a new team as well. He got Towns and Mikal Bridges. He got Towns right before media day. And then he gets Mikal Bridges over the summer. So he didn't have enough time to really implement the things he got to just to give Tibbs the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying he deserves his job. I'm not saying that that we didn't make the right decision. All I'm saying is I see where this guy's pushback is coming from, right? You know, will it take some time to put it together? And maybe we need like a month or two to stink up the joint in the regular season, like maybe going just above 500. And then towards the later end of the season, we start picking it up, getting wins. And then we land at maybe like 52 wins, 51 wins. Maybe that's good enough for a second seed. I think that that's a realistic possibility. But like I told you, damn about the regular season. Only reason why the regular season is important because it helps you get into the playoffs. The playoffs is where it really counts. So if we win 47 games, but we get to the finals, to me, that's a successful season. I don't want to be the team like Cleveland that wins 60 games and can't get out of the second round. If you win 60 games and you can't get out of the second round, that would make you a regular season champion. Not to be confused with the in-season tournament. All right? So, yeah, I was going to go hard in a rebuttal to this, but I get where he's trying to come from. I get where he's trying to come. It makes sense if you look at it from a non-Knick hat. Do I think we're going to get beyond the 53 win mark? I do. And I talked about Yabu, so I'm going to skip that story. But this is a good read on Yabu. This is also in the Smoking Hot. Knicks topic session is talking about Yabu, his role may be more crucial, and it talks about why he could start on this team. All right, if you want to read that. I'm going to jump into the flagship topic, though. All right, in a second. I'm going to take a brief glance into the chat, right? And then Maxine, she's going to kill me if I don't do this. I do need to take you guys to the shop just to put out a reminder or introduce the products. We do got a merch store. You can go to shop.thisweekinsidethenix.com. I'm working on another product. It's coming. So just keep it peeled. Before the season, there may be something to pre-order. We'll see. But right now, this is what we got in the merch. When you go there, we got the Bodega Cat, black glossy mug with the Bodega Cat design, right? Comes in two sizes. You got the 11 ounce and the 15 ounce. Definitely go get yourself a mug now. This is the latest addition to the Bodega Cat. We also got the Bodega Cat hoodie, right? We got the charcoal gray. We got the bone color. We got white. And we got the black, okay? I like the classic black. This is fire. The classic black pretty much, it looks like this. See this right here? This is the Captain 11 though, right? So basically, this is the Bodega Cat. You take the Bodega Cat, put it on the Captain 11, boom, and then you got the Bodega Cat hoodie. That's how it looks, all right? So to check out this and more, and also check out our bestseller, which is the Captain 11 mug, the white one, okay? This is fire. Got the New York City skyline engraved inside the Captain. Definitely go check this out now. Shop that thisweekinsidethenix.com. And we can move on, man. I'm going to look at the chat briefly. Oh, I didn't even have the screen share. Hold on. Let me get the screen share back up. Back in the research. What am I doing? So, yeah, this is the Captain 11. If you didn't see it. Right here. Bam. Let me click it. Okay. New York City skyline. All right. Let me look in the chat real quickly before I move on. HRM the Great. Salute to you, man. Cat needs that tough love. And I feel Cuz be acting like he dying. Yo, HRM. Salute to HRM, by the way. Knicks Tape Madness Discord channel member. You know what? HRM, I'm gonna do this because you are the architect for the fantasy league. And I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I am going to make you a mod, HRM. So HRM the Great, congratulations. You are now a moderator. Okay. I should have been did that. HRM been holding me down. Let me get the soundboard up. Salute to you, HRM, becoming a mod. All right. I appreciate you. And I just want to show you that, man. So now you could put links and you know, whatever you want to share, you could put in the chat. All right. But I hear you on I hear you on Cat. I'm about to talk about the finesse thing, but I just think that where we are today, I think Cat is going to be very effective at the 5. Salute to Latoria B in the building. I see you, Latoria B. Hopefully all is well. I had to come through on a Tuesday. All right. HRM with the, is that the sad face? Then he laughs. Salute to your HRM. I'm going to reach out to your HRM to talk about the league. I think I came up with a date. It's probably going to be that the 11th or the 12th. Is that the, no, that's the, yeah, the 11th or the 12th. I think that's when we're going to do the draft. I've been talking to the people that's a part of it, and weekends is looking like it's a go. So HRM, we're going to talk about that, HRM. But yeah, he's the architect behind the fantasy league. There would be no fantasy league without him. JJP said John Hollinger is a known Knicks hater. Yes, I know that, JJP, but I'm the objective fan. So I just wanted to see, I try to look at his take from a, you know, outside perspective, and I get the logic in what he's saying. I disagree with him, but I can't knock the logic. It does make sense. Now says you don't believe, HM says you don't believe in our training staff. I don't know if he doesn't believe in the training staff. I don't know if it's that, or he just doesn't believe in Mitch. Because two things could be true. Is it that you don't believe in the training staff, or is it that you just don't believe in Mitch? Let me get to flagship before you guys, you know, flip your lids. Flagship topic is New York City ready for Finesse Knicks. I wanna touch on some things, and the reason why I'm talking about it, you know, I might jump out of research. I don't think I need to be in research mode. Salute to my man Trevor, right? Because Trevor, we had a conversation on the Call Up show, right? Salute to my man Trevor, Brooklyn, Queens. He said that in New York, you have to have a physical team. And I thought about it. And I was like, we need to have a physical team, but we don't have a physical team. Now we have physical players, right? And I think that you're always going to have players that play, you know, bang and, you know, battle. But I don't think that our play style is going to resemble the 90s. You know, as much as we love the 90s, you know, big time salute to the 90s, right? That's when I fell in love with the Knicks. I'm sorry, I don't go back beyond that point, but, you know, those were some different times. And honestly, y'all, when you think about the 90s, do you think that 90s team, don't you think we could have used a little bit more finesse? Like, perfect example. The last year Mark Jackson was with the Knicks. How many of y'all remember that? I think that was 91, right? How many of you guys remember second round Bulls 7-game series, right? We had Xavier McDaniels, who we also lost. We went toe-to-toe with the Bulls that year. But Mark Jackson was the point guard. I feel like Ewing, especially on the offensive end, I felt like he benefited more from having a real point guard there. Somebody who really could make plays. And he was more of a finesse kind of guard, right? I think that's what that team was missing. I think maybe that 90s team needed to be a little bit more finesse because, yes, they followed the Pistons blueprint, but they didn't have an Isaiah Thomas. They had it in a Mark Jackson caliber kind of guy. I'm not saying he's as good as Isaiah Thomas, but what I'm saying is, you know, they didn't have it. They had it in Mark Jackson and they traded it away because Phil wanted bigger guards. But when we look at the Knicks and this whole brute, where did it get us? Where did playing physical, lacking the finesse, lacking the skill guys, whether it be a Towns, whether it be a Brunson, lacking those guys, getting guys like Charlie Ward, Chris Childs, no knock to them. First off, salute to those guys. I'm not taking no shots at the 90s. I'm really trying to be objective because a lot of you guys, I think we did the poll. I don't know where it's at. We'll get to it in Word on the Street, but you could vote for it if you want. It's in the community section where I said, you know, which style should the Knicks go with? Should it be the traditional physical style or should it be a more finesse, kind of like how it is in modern days? And when I last looked at the poll, most of you guys were saying physicality, brute force, but where has that gotten us? We copied the Pistons model, but we didn't copy Isaiah Thomas. He is the reason why they won. He was making plays, dazzling, crossovers, all of that stuff back in the days, in the 80s. Clearly, when you listen to Mike Brown and you see what Mike Brown has done, right, he clearly wants us to play faster. He wants us to be more of a team with finesse. He did say we're going to defend with physicality, but it's defending with physicality without fouling. What the hell does that mean? Because if you're defending physically, you're going to foul. But look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Are they a force team or are they a finesse team? They may have a little bit of force, but to me, their magic is that they defend the perimeter well. They do got the two rim protectors in the inside that makes everybody's job easier in Hartenstein and Chet, but those guys defend the perimeter well. What do I mean? It's not necessarily even just to own the ball like Caruso and Dort on the ball. It's the rotation and the switching. They can switch. It doesn't matter. They can rotate, switch, and help better than anybody. Honestly, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder team defensively is one of the best teams I've ever seen. The schemes they would run defensively, I don't think I've seen too many teams be able to do that. Maybe the Bulls in the 90s were that good, but a lot of teams didn't have the versatility to defend the way Oklahoma City does. But when you watch them, do you really think they're a physical team? I don't know if I would say that. They don't got big bruising, battering scorers on the inside. Hartenstein shoot floaters. He don't really post and bang like that. Hartenstein is not a mismatch finder. They don't run pick and roll to get Hartenstein in a mismatch. Usually they run pick and roll to get SGA in the mid-range to wreak havoc because they want to suck in the defense and be able to hit those guys. Pretty much what Mike Brown wants to do. The paint and spray, that's what Oklahoma City does with SGA. So while I would say Oklahoma City probably has a little bit more force than what we have, I still would consider them a team of finesse. So I'm just trying to think like, what happened to my windows? My windows disappear. I'm just trying to think that, you know, maybe it's time that we really take on more of a finesse. Of course, you're going to have physicality there. There's no way to not have physicality, especially in the playoffs. You got to be able to defend the way Indiana did. But I just don't think the slow boom, 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 pound the ball in the paint. I just don't think that that's a recipe for success today. And Mike Brown, he did, like I said, spacing, speed, let it fly, right? His goal is to get us from 34 threes like we took last year to 40 threes. What does that look like? How does Mitchell Robinson help you with those goals? Not to make this about Mitch. I'm just saying, like, because to me, Mitch represents more of a traditional style. And that's why I think you guys like Mitch, because he brings you back to those days of Marcus Camby and we're going to block shots and rebound and not look at the basket. What value does that have in this offense that Mike Brown wants to run? Even Brunson slimmed down and lost weight, right? Karl-Anthony Towns, he says he's going to put him all over the floor. So, yeah, he's going to play the 5, but he's also going to play the 4, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with Mitchell Robinson being in the rotation off the bench. Don't get it twisted. I think you run double big against bench units. That's all I'm saying. Run it against the bench. in the beginning of quarters. So that way you can't hack a Mitch. I'm looking out for Mitch. And like I said, defense matters, and we're going to play defense, but it's not going to be, I don't think we'll be a top 5 defense. I'm hoping we can land anywhere around top 10. But I just think that it's time for us to be a little open-minded, New York City. I think that we might have definitely the best offense in Knicks history was last year. I think we have the opportunity to be better than that this year and really seal our fate as a number 1 offense. Yes, when we look at the champions, the majority of them, top 10 defense, top 10 offense. You had some exceptions, the Warriors, the Nuggets, they weren't top 10 defensive teams. I think that's more of who we're mirroring right now, the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets, right? Maybe not the best defensive teams, but we can defend, but our offense is just so damn good, you can't stop us. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, you know, I love the 90s, but in recent years, Oklahoma City Thunder is probably the most physical team that won the championship. But when you really look at them, they're not playing like the 90s. They're not playing like that. They're playing today. They don't shoot a lot of threes, but they will knock it down because they do get a good amount of open threes, usually created by SGA and Jalen Williams' ability to create and get to the basket. But defensively, I mean, I would say when you look at OKC, the physicality will come from their defense. But the Golden State Warriors, I mean, look at the way they play. Not the greatest defense, but it's good enough to you know, compete. 2024 Celtics. By the way, the 2024 Celtics were top 5, not top 10. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Really good defensive team. And I think that's what kind of saved them, because when they was dying by the 3, they still were getting stops. But when you look at the champions, just look at the landscape in the last 10 years. This is what Leon Rose is building. He's building based off of the past results. He built the team to beat the 2024 Celtics. They did that. So now he's building a team to compete with OKC and the rest of the league. Oh, okay, we need more scoring off the bench. We need a coach that's going to give guys more opportunities. Let's make the tweak. That should be enough to at least get us to the finals. And then from there may be another tweak that gets us to the championship, but hopefully we get to the championship this year. I just don't think that saying that New York City, we have to be physical because of what we did in the past, I don't think that that's a good standard to have, so to speak. What say you as I look into the chat? Continue to smash that like button, y'all. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and join the channel. All right, if you are a subscriber, okay, consider joining. At least consider it. Let's see. Yuri says I like Yabu. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't got an issue with Yabu. My only problem, and I talked about this in the Unfiltered Thought with Mitchell Robinson. If you start Yabu or anybody at power forward, you still are going to have a Mikal Bridges problem. The Mikal Bridges problem is, one, he's not a playmaker for others. He can make plays for himself. He's not a playmaker for others. They're going to guard Brunson 94 feet. You don't want Brunson to dribble. You don't got nobody else in your lineup that's going to be creative and make plays for others. Josh Hart was at least giving you that. Josh Hart gave you 6 assists last year, a game. Josh Hart early on in the season was shooting in the high 30s before, you know, his finger injuries and, you know, whatever. But Josh Hart was a proven shooter early last season. So give Josh Hart a shot. Josh Hart can't shoot, change it up. But Mikal Bridges, to me, I don't like him also guarding the point of attack. So even when we say start Yabu, I'm curious to see how Mike Brown, Brandon O'Connor deal with Mikal defensively, and also not even just defensively, but the offense, right? Who's going to help Brunson run the offense? You guys don't want Brunson to dribble. Who's going to take up the ball out of Brunson's hands? How many times did we get, and maybe this is on Coach Tibbs, but how many times we got a 2-5 pick and roll with Bridges and Mitch? Even Bridges and Towns in pick and roll. There's a lot of variety that this team has. I think that you need that other guard out there. So just something to consider. I'm confident Mike Browns will get it done. Salute to my man Miguel P. I see you in the building. All assumptions about Mitch are based on Tibbs. I expect Browns team to look different. No, Miguel P, I hear you. I'm giving credence to that, even with Mikal Bridges' defense and all of that. But Mitchell Robinson, no matter what, does not help you play fast. It does not help you get shooters into the corner, especially in half court. He doesn't help with that. I get it. We're looking at what Coach Tibbs did with Mitch. But when's the last time we see Mike Brown use two big guys like that in the lineup? The only time you could point to is that Laker team, which he took over from Phil, which had Bynum and Gasol in it. But that's Bynum and Gasol who won the championship. But also, if you want to use that Laker example, you have to consider the notion that he kept the starting lineup the same. Does Mike Brown come in and keep this starting lineup the same? Just saying. All right, let me keep it moving. I don't want to get lost in the chat. See, I get lost in the chat. That's why I like to do members only chat sometimes. I can't get lost in the chat. Salute to the chat. Y'all be doing y'all thing, man. Give you guys a push. Salute to the chat. Definitely holding me down. How are we on time? Oh, we good on time. I did flagship topic. Let's do a topic check really quick. So, do a topic check. We talked about the flagship topic, brute force versus finesse. Media day, training camp days. I didn't get to Mitch's future. I'll touch on that briefly. And then I'll do comment of the week and all of that. Okay. So I'll touch on Mitch, right? I had an article here that was pretty interesting. I believe that was in the training camp session. And I kind of did talk about this, but I don't think I talked about it the way I wanted to. So I'm going to go up a little bit. And I believe this was training camp day 2. Yeah. Okay, cool. So Knicks Mitchell Robinson ate healthier this offseason, right? And salute to Mitch for trying to make a change in his diet and things of that nature. You know, he started his own farm. All his stuff is legit organic, right? And, you know, hopefully, I'm rooting for Mitch to do well, right? Salute to Mitch, changing his diet, right? He lost a little bit of weight. Salute to him. Now, while I understand your health is your wealth, to me, how does this prevent injury? I don't think injury has nothing to do with what you eat. Like the ankle injury will come no matter what you eat. All right? If you sprain your ankle, you could be the most healthiest eater in the world. Your ankle is done. But then the elephant in the room with Mitchell Robinson is the contract. I'm going to put this on the table, and I might have talked about this on the call-up show we did on Friday, but I'm going to reiterate it here. The fact remains is that Mitchell Robinson doesn't have a contract extension, which is definitely at least a highlight on the page. Could he sign it later on? Of course. Could he sign it in the offseason? Of course. But just looking at Leon Rose's history, we know he doesn't keep a guy or carry guys into the season with one expiring deal, a 1-year expiring deal, or 1 year left on their deal when we're talking about key rotational guys, especially starters. Usually they get traded, a la Mitchell Robinson, a la Julius Randle. I think that they're waiting to see what they get from Mitch. But when you add the contract to the fold, it makes me feel as though there's a less chance of Mitch starting. Especially if the issue is over money. Now, I don't know what the issue is over. We're not in those conversations. But if it is over the bag, there's a lot of things that the front office could do to manipulate minutes and time to make sure that you don't look the part. You might be the part, but if you don't look the part, you don't get the bag. Hopefully that makes sense. There's more. I did an unfiltered thought on Mitch, why he shouldn't start. So if you are a channel member, go check that out. Just trying to make sure I hit all the bases. I mentioned DeLon Wright and Brogdon. No, oh, okay. Brogdon, this would be the last joint, and now I get into comment of the week. Oh, I didn't even put the comment of the week there. Oh, man. Did I put the comment of the week there? I didn't. I'm going to do it on the fly, though. This is the article I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to briefly reference this while I make a quick little change really quick. I had two comment of the weeks that was really interesting. I got to add it. You guys got to see. I could read it out, but I'm going to add it. So, make sure you guys are good. You guys can see the screen. Pow. So, Malcolm Brogdon expects to make the final Knicks roster. He says, I have what it takes, right? And he chose to come here because, you know, he believes that we can win a championship. And also, I think part of that is, that's why he came too, is because you're going to make the team, right? I'm trying to see if they got the quote here. Nah, this wasn't the article. It's cool. Hold on. Let me just make this tweet, y'all, but continue to get the likes. I'm going to go into the chat real briefly. I'm not going to stay in the chat. I'm going to go in there real briefly. You know, definitely get the likes up. See what you guys in the building. Because I got two interesting comments of the week, man. Let's see if I could get at least one. If I can't get to the other one, I'm going to do it next week. 100%. I think this was it. Oh, and this is kind of related to Mitch. Damn, my tablet, I don't know where my other tablet is. My other comment of the week is on my tablet. So I'm just going to do this one. So let me refresh the page. So it'll pop up. Scroll all the way down. I'll go over the next one next week. So this post was based off of Mitchell Robinson starting. It was one of them Mitchell Robinson starting posts. And let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in. Hold on. I don't like that. Hold on, y'all. Let me make a tweet. Okay, yeah, this is better. This is better. Okay, cool. So I took this screenshot on my phone, as you guys can see. So this is from the 77th. I don't know if he's a Luka fan, but it's the 77th. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. But this is what he says. Kevin Looney is a 3-time champion with the Warriors, and McGee is a 3-time champion with the Warriors. Both playing in one of the fastest systems in hoops history. Neither of them are better than Mitch. First off, I'm going to slow that down. Slow that down. Let me pause it there. I just have a question. What does Mitch do better than the other two guys that the other two guys don't do? Maybe offensive rebound. Maybe that. What are the durability of McGee and Looney? Are they more durable than Mitch? Here's another element you're missing. Draymond Green is a power forward who moonlights at the center. The same way Karl-Anthony Towns is a center who moonlights at the power forward. Same correlation. The reason why adding those guys to the fold it really doesn't prove your point is because I never said that you can't have a traditional center as your 5. I never said that. I said what I am saying is you got to pick one. Is it going to be Mitch, or is it going to be Hartenstein, or is it going to be Towns? The Warriors did not have Kevin Looney and McGee start together. They didn't do that. They didn't have McGee start with DeMarcus Cousins. They didn't do that. Draymond Green is say what you want about Draymond Green. He's a power forward, right? He's not somebody who is completely a limited liability on offense. Even though he's not the greatest shooter, I wouldn't say Draymond Green is a liability on offense. He can find his spot. He can camp out in the corner. Something that Mitch can't do. So you're making a false comparison there. Because it's not about Mitch and Looney. It's about the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns is a 5 who needs spacing. Kevin Looney and McGee would be backups for Karl-Anthony Towns. They wouldn't play alongside of Karl-Anthony Towns, especially for the Warrior system. So you're wrong with that point. He says the only right answer is Mitch. Mitch has been playing in a system that has ranked dead last in pick and roll for a roll man for 5 years straight. That's a fact. The Knicks definitely, I want to see more pick and rolls. But hold on, let's just think about it. Why do you think, let's put it out there. Why do you think they're not running enough pick and roll with Mitch as the starting center? Why could that be? Maybe it's because Mitch is not as effective in terms of facilitating the offense as the dominant role man. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's easy to guard. And once again, Mike Brown said it in the press conference. This is how we guarded Mitchell Robinson. To me, it was just like kind of indirectly throwing Mitch under the bus. He said when Mitch will set the screen, we blitz the point guard. We bring another man over from the weak side to take away the lob lane. Once you take away Mitchell Robinson's lob lane, he's no longer a threat. Maybe as to get an offensive rebound, and that's maybe depending on if he's in the right position. Once you do that, you render Mitchell Robinson useless until he gets an offensive rebound, if he gets an offensive rebound. So when you bring up the pick and roll, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that played a role in it. Maybe it was Coach Tibbs. I don't know. But clearly, if it was really a threat, wouldn't they run more pick and roll? Tibbs' system literally gave him nothing on offense. I don't think Mike Brown's going to give him much more on offense, except maybe Mike Brown can be more creative in some pick and roll opportunities. Maybe Mitch will have more responsibility on offense, right? Just to give, I'm the objective fan. I'm open, right? I'm not closed off, and I'm willing to give it a shot. But Mitch is the answer. Cat is better at the 4. That's Cap. And listen, if you're going to say something, right, at least be factual. Karl-Anthony, for the last time, I'm tired, guys. I'm tired of doing this. I consistently go to Basketball Reference all the time, right? Hopefully you guys can see it. Hold on, let me see if I can make a tweak. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can make. Does it look better here? No, it doesn't. Hold on, you guys got to see it. Can you guys see the years? I hope you guys can see the years. Okay, if you can't see the years, I'll point them out. But you can see the positions. Karl-Anthony Towns in his entire basketball career has been a power forward twice. You go back to Kentucky, he was a 5. You go back to high school, he was a 5. Once Karl-Anthony Towns got to 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, he was a center. He was not a power forward. Just because he can shoot does not make him a power forward. For the record, the best years of his career, he played center. All of his All-NBA years was him at the 5. Not the 4. 2 of his worst years are him playing power forward. Then he had an injury year. So you can't even say 2 years, because if you add the 2 years up, you get just over a season worth of games. He has a very small sample size at power forward. His last All-Star appearance at power forward, he averaged 21.8 and 8. Okay? 41% from 3. 50% from the field. He had a better year this year at the 5. He averaged 24.4 points, damn near 13 rebounds, shot 42% from 3, and shot 52% from the field. What the hell are we talking about? Towns is better at the 4. What are you talking about? It makes no sense. You can't say he's better at the 4 defensively, because if he can't guard 5s or he can't defend the paint, what makes you think the so-called slow-footed Towns, as they like to say, is going to be better on the perimeter against Jason Tatum and Pascal Siakam, where you want him to be? If you're talking about team success in 2023 and 2024, he had an Ant-Man that rose to an all-star level, something he did not have in the first 8 years of his career in Minnesota. That's the reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves did not have the success they had until Ant-Man got there, until they had the #1 defense in the league. Not just Rudy Gobert, Xavier, what's his name? McDaniels, right? Conley's a great defensive point guard. Anthony Edwards is one of the few superstars that can defend at a high level and takes on tough matchups. It's not just Rudy Gobert at the 5 that made Minnesota a good defensive team. What are we talking about? So no, his best years is at the 5. I'm tired of y'all saying that. Every year at the 5, he had 3 All-NBA years playing center. How's he better? That just by saying that, there's no need to have a conversation. So yeah, I'm tired of that. I really am. I'm tired of having to pull up Basketball Reference, bro. Like, oh yeah, he's better at the 4. His better years of his career is at the what? You don't got no evidence to prove that. He played 83 games. Hold on, let's get the math right. Let's make sure we get our math right. 29 plus 62 is what? Okay, 91 games. He played 91 games at power forward in his entire career. He played 645 games. 91 of those games was power forward. He only averaged 22 points at his height. That's amongst the lowest scoring years for him and amongst the lowest rebounding years for him. He didn't stand out in no area. It wasn't like he was lighting up the threes more than he always do. He's shooting over 40% for his career. What are we talking about? Towns is better at the 5. I don't know who y'all listening to, but y'all need to stop listening to him. And that's no offense to nobody. If you're going to tell me that Towns is better at the 4, you're out of your mind. And it's not because he played along Rudy Gobert, because Donovan Mitchell played alongside Rudy Gobert. Where did they go? Did they go to the Western Conference Finals? No. It's Ant-Man, who's been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. One of the few people in the league that's done that. Back-to-back Western Conference Finals. You're talking about Luka. You're talking about Jokic. Very few guys go back-to-back to the conference finals. We also saw why Coach had to go to Mitch in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Do you want me to debunk this? First off, the double big lineup in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final playoff games against Indiana was a -8. Karl-Anthony Towns scored 20 points in the 4th quarter, but guess who was not on the floor? Mitchell Robinson. But guess who was on the floor? Deuce McBride. I'm done talking about this. Yeah, it's really grinding my gears, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired of it. It's one thing if you want Mitch to start, say that. But don't concoct these fantastical arguments to make it seem like it's better. It's not. He is not better at the 4. You do not have no sample size to prove that. You can't prove it in college, right? I don't know about high school. I don't care about high school. You don't got no sample size in college or the pros to show he's better at the power forward. Before I jump into word on the street, that was comment of the week, by the way, guys. I'm sorry, I got a little animated. I just don't like when people make stuff up to prove their points. It's nonsense to me. But let me talk about a little bit what you get when you join the team. Join the team. Yeah, join the team. When you join the channel, right? We got 2 packages: the starter Knicks fan, the hardcore Knicks fan. Salute to all my channel members. I do appreciate all you guys. Let me get my soundboard up. Salute to all the channel members, man. Thank you for supporting me. Your support definitely goes a long way. When you join the channel, you get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which I kept telling you guys about early on. You know, some of the conversations and debate. I'm pretty sure Knicks will be champs is going to come at me and J Tap, both of them together. They're going to debate me after this show, right? Because when you join the channel and get inside the Discord, it's a great way to extend the conversation. So the shows can only be for so long, but the conversation can go on for hours in the Discord server. I do a members only server because I don't like dealing with trolls and crazy people. I like it. It's like a family in there. We disagree. Oh boy, don't get that twisted. We definitely debate, but it's never going to be an argument. It's never going to be calling people out of their names. These people support the channel. They support the platform. So, you know, big time salute to these guys, even though we disagree, right? So Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, we don't only talk about Knicks, but we do talk about the Knicks 24/7. We talk all sports, Yankees, Mets, Jets, all of that good stuff. We talk about that in the Discord server as well. The fantasy league that we ran, sorry, is closed, guys. We already got enough people for the fantasy league. No worries, we will stream the fantasy league live, the draft. So, and that's how that idea was birthed. You know, the Discord server is a place where the magic happens, right? So that's not all you get when you join the channel. So you get these cool little stars so I could identify you, especially when you guys coming from my head like Knicks will be champs. Look, Knicks will be champs, right? Start Mitch. The reason why I was able to identify who he is because he got the star. Not only just the star, he is also a mod, but he has a star. So that's why I was able to define him pretty easily. My man Yuri. I look forward to Deuce under Mike Brown, right? He's another channel member, mod, right? Salute to those guys. So you get the cool stars so I can easily find who you are and identify you, point you out. Now, you also get priority reply to comments. So when I do shows like this, I'm always looking for channel members. I drop a lot of content, even though I kind of been slacking on the posts this week. I will get back into it more heavy going forward, especially as we get into preseason mode and season mode. So every day I drop content. So when you guys comment on the channel, you know, I always look out for them stars because the stars look out for me. And you always I always will reply to your comment no matter what it is. You could disagree with me. You could say I'm wrong. I don't care about that. I'm here for the smoke. That's why I do the smoke of the week. And, you know, definitely salute to those guys who got the stars because they help keep the show going. I also do member only live chats. I will be doing more of those when the season starts. 100% sure. 100% certain. Members only live chats is because sometimes the shows are too long because I stay in the chat and people be like, you're in the chat too long. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. So I do the members only chat so I can give the members an opportunity to contribute while I stay focused on the content, right? Sometimes I do a 10 key show, right? I'm going to be doing a couple of more 10 item shows. I think I'm going to do the 10 things I'm looking forward to the 2025-26 season. That's going to be coming. So when I do those shows, more than likely, those will be members only live chats. Also, I do members only live streams. Usually those are me hooping, right? When I hoop on Saturdays and Tuesdays, even though I'm not doing it today because I'm live with you guys, but I do members only live streams as well. A lot of members only exclusive content. I got this series called The Unfiltered Thought as well, where usually I record it at 3 in the morning and it's just me just kind of blacking out, just talking about different topics. These are some of the most recent Unfiltered Thoughts that I did do. I did the one, the real reason why Mitchell Robinson start, right? Salute the Knicks will be champs. I'm pretty sure he didn't like this video, but it's a 30-minute video with me just going in. And to be honest, I actually had a 10 reasons why Mitchell Robinson should start video, which I didn't cover everything because I don't want to feel like I'm coming after Mitch, but I just don't see the vision. If he does start, I salute him. I also did another video saying why there's a good chance Hart will start. All right. And then I did another Mitchell Robinson video. What's really happening with Mitchell Robinson's future, all right? So you get to see these unfiltered thoughts as well once you join the channel. Let me see. I got to refresh. So you get a lot of content, a lot of things that I provide to the membership. One thing I will say that my membership is not just a donation to just support the channel. No, you actually get stuff. Of course, members always get shout outs and members also get a discount on the merch. All right. So salute to all my channel members, man. I do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna jump into the word on the street. All right. So, this is the poll I did earlier. We're going to get to that. So I don't think I got too much. Oh, I got a couple. Okay. I got a couple. So I guess I wasn't slacking like that. So I'm gonna do a couple of these. During Knicks media day, Mike Brown emphasized his desire. This was a trick question. His desire for the team to play fast, both in half court and full court, while also maintaining a physically tough defensive style. Based on this statement, who do you think will start alongside JB, Towns, OG, and Bridges? I'm going to say I think Hart starts. So out of the 296 votes, 61% of you guys believe in Mitch. You guys think Mitch will start. 19% thinks Hart will start, and then 18% thinks Deuce will start. I'm seeing a rise in the Deuce people. Yuri, salute to Yuri. Right, Yuri he's beating the Deuce McBride drum pretty hard. I'm cool with Hart or Deuce starting. I think those two are just the right picks for me. I lean more towards Deuce because of his perimeter defense and his shooting ability and his ability to guard 94 feet. No one else on the team has that ability. Now, let me jump into this. Now that the season is upon us, which change under Mike Brown are you looking forward to most? Jalen Brunson, less dribbles, better ball movement, better bench utilization. Honestly, I'm going to say other. 15% of you said less Jalen Brunson dribbles. 30% said better ball movement. 53% say better bench utilization. I'm going to say what I'm looking forward to most is to seeing this offense be one of the top two offenses in basketball. I think that we have the ability, the roster to be the number one, maybe number two offense, depending on Houston. If they can turn it up, I'm not sure if they are a top 3 level offense caliber team under Ume Udoka, but you never know. And they got the personnel. And I'm looking at Cleveland, of course, right? You got to respect Cleveland because they got a lot of guards and they could all score and shoot. OKC, they're a threat to be number one offense, number one defense. The last time we seen that was the 96 Bulls. So it's some competition at that top spot. ESPN we talked about this, the top 10 NBA players with Jalen Brunson ranked as the 10th best player. Did they get it right? I'm going to say no, Brunson is top 9. So 414 votes. 49% of you said yes, Brunson is number 10. 34% say no, Brunson is top 5. 13% say no, Brunson is top 9. And 4% say no, Brunson is not in the top 10. Only reason why I say top 9 is because I think the top 6, I don't think you could argue with the top 6. I'm going to keep it real. That's just me being objective. The Knicks have decided to abandon their traditional physical play in favor of a more finesse-oriented style. As the Knicks fans, which style do you prefer them to play in? A traditional style or finesse with more scoring? Which style do you think? I'm going to say finesse with more scoring. 79 votes. 66% of you guys are stuck in the 90s. 34% say finesse with more scoring. So you guys could vote on these polls. They're in the community section. If you hadn't already, let your voice be heard. And we'll talk about it on This Week Inside the Knicks. So I think that's going to be the last section of the day. I'm going to peek in the chat just to see what's going on. If there's any activity I should look at, anything new. I want to thank you guys once again, for supporting the show, man. Definitely couldn't do it without the support of the channel members and the subscribers. Salute to the subscribers that's always here. Salute to the mods. Salute to everybody that shows up for every show, even if you come to debate and argue. Salute to all you guys, man. Miguel says Hart is not a tough defender. Yes, I know. You know what, Miguel? I'm not going to act like Hart is the best defender in the world. I'm not. But I do think he's solid on the offensive end, and I think he will fit in nicely to what Mike Brown wants to do on the offense. Defense, though, I'm with you because you still got the Mikal Bridges problem that I keep talking about. Mikal Bridges guarding the point of attack. I don't like it. Maybe Mike Brown has a plan. I'm willing to see it out. Let's see what happens. By the way, salute to Still Knick fans, special guest in the building. Salute to Still Knick fans in the building. Definitely Still Knick fans. I'm due to be on the Monday night show, especially now that the season's coming. We gotta talk. We gotta talk behind the scenes, Still Knick fans. We're gonna get that. We're gonna make that happen. And you know what? On the way out, I'm gonna do a gamification salute. Salute to everybody that's been on the show rocking for the full hour 30, right? Try to get it under the hour 30 mark, but it's okay. This is a good place to be. I'm gonna make some arrangements behind the scenes. Let me move this over here so I can look at the the gamification check. So I'm gonna give a big time salute to my man. Let me jump out of here. Salute to my man Mellow Mike at the #1 spot, man. By the way, me and Mellow Mike, man, we got some things working. Me and Mellow Mike, we working behind the scenes. We got some things I can't share. I wanted to share it today, one of the things, but we're gonna get to it. Salute to my man Michael in the building. Even though I think that Michael might be Yuri. I don't know. Is that your second channel? I listen, Yuri, I don't know. That might be Yuri's second channel. I don't know if you want me to blow that up, but salute to Michael. HRM the Great, I see you at the #3 spot. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member, and now a mod. Salute to you, HRM. How could I forget Size 9? Salute to Size 9, man. You definitely, I appreciate you. Even though we disagree most of the times, I still appreciate you always being in the top 5 of the gamification. That engagement definitely helps. Salute to my man Stevie Nicks in the building, man. Pleasure having you in the building. My man BS10 258 channel member, I see you in the building. Buzzer Beater, I see you. Salute to you at the #7 spot. My man Miggy P at the #8 spot, getting on me for Josh Hart. Hey, listen, man. I'm not saying Josh Hart's a good defender, but he's a good offensive player, especially for what I think Mike Brown wants to do. Salute to my man Nick Shack at the #9 spot. I know he's a Mitchell Robinson guy. I know he's, oh my God, he's probably sick of me with the Mitchell Robinson talk. Salute to my man Hotline Bling was a good song. That definitely was a good song. Salute to my man Coach in the building. Salute to my man, salute to my man Randle, but also salute to Latoria B. I do appreciate you, Latoria B, in the building. Randle, one of the latest channel members. I do appreciate you, Randle, 1973. I look forward to your calls on the next call-up show. Of course, Just Knicks, salute to you. And how could I forget Still Knicks fan army in the building? Definitely check them out if you hadn't already. My man Simon in the building. JM3, triple O. I'm just going to say JM3, salute to you. My man, FS Wisdom channel member, man. Salute to FS Wisdom, always keeping me on my toes. Listen, I got to be on point, because if I'm not, FS Wisdom, he going to call me out. But if I do well, FS Wisdom, he's going to give me my props. So salute to FS Wisdom. I'm always looking for my props for him, hopefully. But when he disagrees, he'll let you know. And of course, JJP NYC, how could I forget? Knicks Tape Madness Discord server and Knicks Tape, the Knicks call-up show. He'll frequent call on that show, man. That's all I got for you guys. Be on the lookout, channel members, for the Ejected Fan Hoops. If not this week, definitely, probably more than likely Sunday if it don't rain. Knicks call-up show on Friday, okay? I'll be dropping content in between there. Abu Dhabi games, okay? October 9th is going to be the first post-game call-up show. What else? I think that's it, man. Fantasy draft too. The fantasy draft will be on the weekend in October. That would be the 11th or the 12th. But that's all I got for you guys, man. And until next time, peace. Go Knicks.